Football, Vikings at Bears. Justin Jefferson's been banged up with a hamstring. He's missed most of camp. Caleb Williams has a new head coach. JJ's got a new quarterback in JJ McCarthy. So it's kind of a debut on both sides of things. You're the Bear here. It's pretty much a pick 'em. Vikings -1.5.
I got to go with my Bears here, dude. This is an opportunity to introduce yourself to the world. You only get one introduction. You only get one first impression. For Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson, this is the thing that they've had their sights set on, a divisional opponent, an opportunity to get after a team who is a very good test defensively. This is a great defense. So if Ben Johnson and this unit can go out there and handle business, I think they're going to be in a really good spot, man. I think they're going to be in a good spot. I got the Bears, obviously.
Just pencil him in for the Bears every week. We don't even have to do anything. Just Bears.
What do you want from me, dude?
I don't know. He was pretty critical at times of the Bears.
They hit it. Okay, they got the number one quarterback. They've got an all-star receiver room. They've got Ben Johnson, who many people told me before he was a Chicago Bear, and I became a fanboy of him, that he was the best in football. You explain to me what's going on.
I'm with you. I'm picking the Bears as well. I don't believe in JJ McCarthy yet, and I had my reservations about him last year when he came into the league, and I haven't seen enough of him. And there's been talk that he's been erratic at times in camp.
He doesn't have his full complement of guys right now either.
No, he doesn't. But they brought Thielen back, which will help him. I think Thielen's a reliable guy for them as well. But I'm just concerned about him as a thrower of the football, and they're going to have to run the ball. I think the Bears Ben Johnson will get the game plan going that against Brian Flores, where I think he hits him for a couple big plays. I like the Bears at home. I think they cover the number and win the game outright.
I do too. This was almost my best bet.
Me too.
But I picked something else.
Me too.
We're going to get the best bets in.
That's cool. I like that.
Just a couple of minutes. Recapping the primetime picks. Cowboys-Eagles on Thursday. Remember that Chiefs-Chargers game? That's a Friday night game in Brazil. Both the guys like the Chiefs -3 against the Chargers and agree on the Bears +1.5 at home against the Vikings. Best.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome. We're going to be talking about players to fade, especially for those drafting late. You're with your host, Justin Henry, for Bob Palmer, right here on Bleacher Report. Shout out to the chat for getting here and rocking with us throughout the show. But today, we're going to be talking about those players that you don't want to draft on your fantasy team. And P, this is always a touchy subject because we're going to be talking about somebody's favorite player here. Somebody's going to get in their emotions, especially when it comes to people who already drafted. But this is for those, hey, we're going to warn you, before you get those last-minute drafts in, don't take these players.
That's a fact, man. And, you know, when we're talking about avoiding these players, it's not 100% like avoiding them completely. If they fall around to you, a round or two rounds, by all means, go ahead and take them. But keep your emotions out of it, especially when you're drafting, because, you know, it's going to get spicy here.
It's going to get spicy, and, you know, P just mentioned it. This isn't players that you don't want to absolutely never take. They're not terrible players, and we're not saying they're not going to perform at all. They're just going a little higher than you want, man. And so sometimes there's value at the same range that you're taking another player, and you have to absolutely know that heading into your draft. So it's our job to get you guys ready, and you guys can give us feedback on these picks and if we're going the right way or not. So, P, I want you to start off, man. Give us one of your players that's on your do not draft list.
Yeah, so on my do not draft list, this is somebody who I was talking about a lot last year, and you know, for good reason. Devin Achane. So this is a player who is going.
We are back talking last minute fantasy do not draft list, and we got to continue the list, P, with even more players that we got to fade. And this one seems like it might be an older one, P.
Yeah, we're talking about a little long in the tooth. I'm talking about Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones here, right? So, you know, he's going as RB26, somebody I'm completely avoiding. You may think that you know, a running back falling into the middle of the second or middle of the sixth round is he's an older back, long story short, right? He's turning 31 in December. So, you know, what we know of Aaron Jones, solid player, fits in the system actually really well, but he has an injury always had an injury history, despite last year actually playing a full healthy season. You could kind of count on that with him being 31, playing until he's 31, right? So, the main reason here why he's a player that I'm avoiding is because Minnesota's traded actually for Jordan Mason, and they traded for him, signed him to a 2-year deal. So I see this more as a passing of the guard, right? So it's going to be a 50-50 split. That's what they're saying, whereas I see it more of like over the course of the season, Jordan Mason really taking on that role of maybe even a 60-40 split, depending on how they, how their performance is going to be based. So Jordan Mason, I see him seizing a lot of the goal line work. And in this same system, when he was on the Niners, he averaged 107 yards of rushing a game. So he's no slouch. He's going in a system that fits. They believe in him. That's why they traded a few draft picks for him and signed him to a 2-year deal. So, why would I draft Aaron Jones in the middle of 6 when in round 8 or 9 I can get Jordan Mason? He's just a complete avoid. Aaron Jones is just complete avoid for me.
Yeah, and he goes in a range where there's like some really good receivers too. I just don't find myself drafting a lot of Aaron Jones, even if I miss out on the running back position. But I do think Aaron Jones probably is being punished a little too much just because he's age 30 and the team traded for another running back. If I'm being honest, Jordan Mason's been a backup, and he is a backup. Like, he's not really a starting caliber player, and I think that's why you hear the 1A, 1B. Aaron Jones has proven, even in a timeshare, he could be really valuable when it comes to fantasy. He's had top 15 finishes when A.J. Dillon was there, supposedly going to take over the workload in the similar type of role. So I think the one concern I have with Aaron Jones is, can he stay healthy? Can he make it through the season? He's had injury bug throughout his entire career, even though he played 17 games last year with Minnesota. It's like he always seems to be banged up, and he had a top 15 finish last year, but I'd still err on the side of caution. I actually don't think he's going at a bad spot. You just talked about it. There's a lot more upside with Jordan Mason. So on my end, I have one more do not draft player as well, Sam Laporta. And Sam Laporta, to me, this is one I just don't understand.
What's up, Vikings Nation? It's Victor here with Report Vikings, and today we've got some roster cut news to break down. Yeah, cut down week is always tough, and the Vikings have already moved on from 12 players. Some of these names were expected, others, honestly, a little surprising. Let's go through them one by one and talk about what it means. First off, the obvious one, Brett Rypien. Let's be real, he just didn't look like an NFL quarterback this preseason. Against the Titans, the offense had zero juice, no rhythm, and it felt like our receivers fighting for roster spots didn't even get a fair shot because of how rough QB play was. The Vikings already signed Carson Wentz to bring in a vet presence, so yeah, this one was coming. Next up, Randall Stewart and Keenan Garber, you both wide receivers. Stewart had a couple nice moments in preseason week 3, but nothing that really stood out enough to crack this roster. Garber's release wasn't a shock either. Depth is thin right now with Jefferson, Addison, and Naylor dealing with situations, but the Vikings clearly felt like these guys weren't long-term fits. Then we've got Theo Jackson, pal, at safety, solid effort guy, but when you look at how Brian Flores wants to rotate defensive backs, this wasn't a surprise. One that really caught my eye though, Logan Brown, the offensive tackle out of Kansas. Coming into the draft, some scouts had him graded as a top 100 type of talent. He showed flashes in the preseason, and honestly, I thought he might sneak into the 53-man roster. Instead, he's gone, at least for now. Don't be shocked if he ends up back on the practice squad. Another experiment that didn't work, Silas Bolden, who the Vikings tried out as a return specialist. It just didn't click. Expect Brandon Powell to be that guy going forward. We also saw Robert Lewis let go at wide receiver, and at linebacker, both Travis Bell and Cam Gill were cut. Same with Zach Bailey on the offensive line, and maybe the toughest one for me personally, Leroy Watson. Man, he put some really good tape out there in that final preseason game. I honestly thought he was battling with Justin Schooley to be that swing tackle, but the Vikings gave Schooley decent money, and that probably sealed it. I wouldn't be surprised if Watson gets picked up by another team off waivers. So that's the 12. Brett Rypien, Randall Stewart, Keenan Garber, Theo Jackson, Powell, Logan Brown, Silas, Bolden, Robert Lewis, Travis Bell, Cam Gill, Zach Bailey, Leroy Watson. And of course, Brett Rypien again leading the headlines with the QB shuffle. Here's my takeaway, Vikings fans. Most of these cuts make sense, but losing Watson and Brown stings a little bit. Those are young linemen with upside, and I've gotta say, it shows just how much confidence the front office has in the veterans they've invested in. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these 12 cuts surprised you the most? Was it Leroy Watson, Logan Brown? Maybe you're still salty about Silas Bolden not working out as a returner. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's get a real debate going. And hey, if you love keeping up with every single move the Vikings make sure you hit that like button, share this video with your fellow fans, and subscribe to Report Vikings. We're going to be breaking down every roster move, every rumor, and every trade possibility all season long. This is Victor, signing off. Skol Vikings!